While a rose by any other name is still a rose, the note of rose is a very complex note and one that offers a lot of variety. There are many different types of rose. You have Bulgarian rose, you have damask rose, rose de mai. I mean, there's a lot of different types of rose notes that you're going to find in fragrances. Of course, any of you that's been following me for any amount of time, you guys know that rose is one of my favorite notes. So today, I'm going to be jumping into 10 of my favorite rose fragrances. I would call these my holy grail rose fragrances that I have in my collection. Now, I have a lot and everything couldn't make the list. I just want to highlight these 10. Now, these 10 are in here for a variety of different reasons. Those reasons I'm going to break down in just a few moments. So if you want to see what's on my list of 10, what do we want to call this? 10 masterpiece rose fragrances or 10 holy grail rose fragrances. Let's go with that. If you want to see what's on my list, then you guys know the routine. Keep it locked right here. Let's get it. All right, guys, we are back. Thank you so much for keeping it locked in. We're going to jump into this list. If you guys aren't subscribed to the channel, make sure you go ahead and hit the subscribe button. We talk about fashion and fragrance on this channel, so if any of those things may be of interest to you, please make sure that you hit the subscribe button and make sure you enable your notifications by hitting the word all. That way, when I upload new content on this channel, you'll get notified. So the first fragrance that I want to talk about is actually an honorable mention because I'm really going to give you guys my top 10. But this one is a little bit newer acquisition to the collection, but it definitely deserves to be talked about. And I'm talking about a rose fragrance from the house of Initial Parfums, and this one is called Atomic Rose. Atomic Rose. Man, I love this fragrance. The house of Initial Parfums is one of those fragrance brands that all their fragrances kind of have a DNA. And that's not the case with every fragrance brand. But this brand, I would say Bond number 9 for the most part. Argos fragrances, those fragrance houses, when you smell their fragrances, they have a particular DNA that's kind of embedded within the confines of each fragrance, regardless of the rest of the note breakdown. And I get that here. So it has that Initial Parfums thing going for it, but it also, this one is a kind of fresh rose fragrance. But then it dries down to a nice vanillic, ambery dry down. And of course, amber is also one of my favorite notes. So I get, the best of both of those worlds in this fragrance. But this is one that I think you guys need to check out. As a matter of fact, I got this one from Twisted Lily. I always have Twisted Lily linked down in the description because you guys can get 10% off if you use my link, if you want to get anything over at Twisted Lily. And that's where I got this from. This fragrance, a lot of fragrances that I'm going to talk about today on this video, you can probably find there as well. And the great thing is you can get samples if you want to invest into a full bottle. But anyway, definitely, man, check this one out. This probably in the next couple of months may be in my top 10 rose fragrances in my collection. But check it out. Again, this one is called Atomic Rose. All right, guys, now coming in at the 10th spot, this one is a little bit more of a newer acquisition as well, but definitely deserves to be on this list. And the reason this one is on the list because it's different. Oftentimes you're going to find in rose fragrances that rose oud combination, and I like this one because it does not have oud in it. And this one comes from the house of Argos, and this is Adonis Awakens. Adonis Awakens, man. Look at the color of the juice. Very much, in my opinion, representative of what you would see in the color of rose. If you could extract rose oils directly from the flower, it kind of looks like it would come out like this, man, and it smells phenomenal. Now this features Bulgarian rose, which is in most cases when it's used, a sultry, sexy rose note. And I think it's really well done and appropriately using this fragrance. And I love this one because it opens up really bright. You got some bergamot in here. You have this freshness. You have some grapefruit as well. But they're dry down. Of course, the Bulgarian rose is here. And this has a very unique combination of two notes, which is chestnut and also raspberry. And this is the fragrance brand that really opened my eyes to the fact that I really love when fragrances use raspberry, because there's several in this collection that actually features the note of raspberry. And this is so good. My God, that chestnut gives this kind of nuttiness to it. There's some vanilla in here as well. You guys gotta smell this. You have to smell this fragrance. So check it out, man. It's in my top 10 because it's so unique. It's so different from all the other rose fragrances that I have. And that's not a bad thing in this case. So check it out. Again, this one is from the house of Argos, and this one is called Adonis Awakens. All right, coming in at the 9th spot. This fragrance actually comes from a fragrance brand that's not a lot of people talk about, and that could be because it's not quite as accessible as some other fragrances, but it comes from the house of Givenchy, and this one is called Aurum. This is Aurum, and I've talked a few times about this fragrance on the channel. Beautiful presentation on this bottle, and I really enjoy the scent as well. Again, roses, of course, the main note here, but you're gonna get that in addition to some chocolate and strawberry. That's why this fragrance, oftentimes when I talk about a sexy fragrance, I oftentimes will talk about this fragrance and include that on a list because that's just what it is, man. You get rose, you get chocolate and strawberries. That's what it's all about if you talk about sexy fragrances, in my opinion. And when it dries down, you get some incense here, so it gets a little bit smoky. Some labdanum in here. Labdanum is in this one as well. Again, just the perfect rose fragrance, and there's a slight hint of oud. So unique. And that's because really, to me, that rose combination with the strawberry and chocolate makes it a really unique combination. So one of my favorites for that reason. So if you can, check it out. It's from the house of Givenchy Blending Magic. This is called Aurum. All right, now coming in at the 8th spot, another fragrance that is on this list because of the unique factor. Because I do not detect oud in this fragrance, so I love it for that reason. A unique rose fragrance. This is from the house of Parfums de Marly, and this is Habdan. Now, I love Habdan because, again, I talk about unique. This doesn't have oud as well, and I actually like that in this fragrance. There's so many fragrances that use the rose oud combination that very quickly you can get really, just, it can be over the top. When you smell every fragrance that has rose, there's oud. So again, I like that about this fragrance as well as a few others that's on this list. But, of course, rose, and I like this apple/caramel combination in Habdan. I really can't explain it. You really got to put your nose to it, but I've heard people say this, and I agree with this. If you think about what this smells like, think about going to your county fair, and you get a candy apple that has the caramel on it with the nuts on it, the peanuts on it. That's exactly what this smells like. That's what it smells like. There's some myrrh in here that makes it a little bit sticky. Not resinous, but just almost kind of the sticky vibe you get combined with the caramel. I can almost envision caramel being, kind of melting and being pulled away from the candy apple. That's kind of what the myrrh does to this fragrance, but it's amazing. And that's why it's on the list. So check it out, guys. Again, this one is from the house of Parfums de Marly, and this one is called Habdan. All right, coming in at the 7th spot on this list, this fragrance comes from the house of Roger Parfums, and this is Amber Oud. Amber Oud, and this is another amazing scent that actually has a rose oud combination. Now, the reason that this one actually made the list, besides the fact that it just smells fantastic and it performs all day on my skin, the rose and oud actually are here, but they are very well blended. That's one of the things I can say about a lot of fragrances that I have from the house of Roger Parfums. They are really, really blended well. They're blended to perfection, and that is the case with this fragrance as well. It's blended so well that the rose and oud almost play like second fiddle to some other notes in this fragrance. They're actually notes that I love. The fig, there's a very creaminess to this fragrance. That fig ylang combination in the heart of this scent. And then you have some saffron and cinnamon on the dry down. Again, a lot going on here, but it's blended to perfection. I love this fragrance, and that's why it's on the list. It's from the house of Roger Parfums, and again, this one is called Amber Oud. All right, guys, coming in and the sixth spot on this list, you know what this fragrance is. It comes from the house of Louis Vuitton, and this one is called Ombre Nomad. Ombre Nomad. And what I love about this fragrance actually is this is probably one of the most animalic kind of rose fragrances on this list. Obviously, it's going to feature rose and oud, but this also has incense and raspberry. It's very, very smoky, very manly, and that's what I love about this fragrance. Again, I talked about this fragrance last week, and I told you guys I like to wear this when I'm dressed up. It just works well. It screams boss. It screams, sophisticated gentleman. It screams mysterious, and I love all those things about a fragrance. I know when I wear this, I'm gonna go out wherever I'm going, and I'm gonna smell unique, and I want to get some attention. And so check it out, guys. If you like rose fragrances, of course, I think this is one that a lot of you guys would really like. This is from the house of Louis Vuitton, and it's called Ombre Nomad. All right, coming in the fifth spot, this is the fragrance, rose fragrance that turned me on to the fact that I really love rose. A lot of times we, as guys, I'm pretty sure a lot of you probably had the same mindset when you first really got into this hobby, that rose was really reserved for fragrances that were marketed to women. This fragrance changed my mind. It's from the house of Amouage, and this is Lyrik Man. Lyrik Man from Amouage. This bottle is really low, and this is a fragrance that when I run out, I'm definitely getting a backup bottle. Well, not a backup bottle, another bottle, because I want to have this in my collection. Always have it. What I love about this one is this fragrance gave me this, it has this freshness in the opening, this very citrusy freshness in the opening of the fragrance. I think there is lime in here. I have some bergamot. It dries down. Of course, you get the rose, and it has some incense in here. And the incense, to me, I've always said, this kind of made the note of rose masculine, if that makes sense, in this fragrance, because it gave that smokiness, and it really worked well with the rose. So it's kind of like a smoky rose with a nice, bright, fresh opening. It's the best way to describe this fragrance. So this got me interested into the note of rose, and I'm so happy that I tried it. Again, it's from the house of Amouage. This is one of my favorites. That's why it's in the fifth spot. This is called Lyrik Man. All right, coming in at the fourth spot, we need some sad music right here. Sadly, and I sincerely say sadly, this fragrance has been discontinued, man, and I just wanted to come back. I don't want to spend an exorbitant amount of money to get a backup. I've already been through a 50 ml bottle of this stuff, and now there's probably about a fourth of this missing. And that's saying a lot because I have a lot of fragrances. But this fragrance is from the house of Bond number 9. You guys know it was going to be on here. This is New York Oud. New York Oud, New York Oud, New York Oud. It's so good. Oh my gosh. It's really saying something that this is in the fourth spot, because I love this fragrance, man. There's a lot of sentimental value to this one as well. My main man, Kevin, turned me on to this fragrance. I heard him talk glowingly about it, and I tried it, and I loved it. Rose, oud, plum, honey, musk. And that plum in this fragrance takes it to the next level. And that gives it a very unique factor as well. And that's why I love it so much. And it has that Bond number 9 thing going that I personally love to smell in fragrances. That's why I really like fragrances from that brand, although a lot of folks don't care for it. But anyway, you guys know this. If you've been following me for any amount of time, you knew this would be on the list. It's in the fourth spot, and Bond number 9 needs you to bring this back. This is called New York Oud. All right, coming in at the third spot. These top three definitely Grails, man. This one comes from the house of MFK, and this is Oud Satin Mood. Now, this particular bottle is the Extrait. I actually have the EDP as well. Either one is going to work. But man, this stuff is amazing. This features Damask rose as well as Turkish rose. So there's two different varieties of rose in this. Just really, I would say just the combination of the two gives this fragrance a really richness. It's a very rich fragrance. You have some rose in here. Of course, you have oud. I think there's saffron, vanilla, and the addition in the Extrait that I don't think is present in the EDP is cinnamon. And that's one of my favorite notes. So it kind of gives this additional kind of spiciness, slightly sweet spiciness to this particular iteration of Oud Satin Mood. And I love this stuff. Hands down, easily in my top 3. Oh my gosh. Guys, you gotta get your nose on this. It's from the house of MFK, and this is called Oud Satin Mood, and this particular one is the Extrait de Parfum. All right, guys, coming in at the number 2 spot on this list, this fragrance is starting to compete with my number 1 for my favorite rose fragrance in my collection. I don't really have words to describe how good this fragrance is, so I'm going to show you the bottle. It's from the house of Aphrodisiac Victorious, and it's this beauty right here. This is Blue Sapphire. This is Blue Sapphire. Oh my gosh. The opening, you get lemon, so a nice blast of this citrus in the top coming from lemon, and this nice, really, it kind of comes off as a candied kind of vibe that works with the lemon, almost like lemon heads, but it really is coming from this green herbal undertone. How it really works with the lemon in this fragrance, a little bit spicy, but it's a combination of notes. You have marigold, which is called tagettes, I think that's how you pronounce that. You have saffron, you have chamomile, and sage in the opening of this fragrance, and it's just dynamite, man. You get amber and some other stuff as it dries down, but this is, you just gotta smell it. It's an amazing rose fragrance. I'm telling you guys, get your nose on this stuff. Any hype that you have heard about this fragrance is absolutely warranted. Again, this is from the house of Aphrodisiac Victorious, and this one is called Blue Sapphire. And drum roll, please. You guys know what this fragrance is. It needs no introduction on this channel. Let's just show the bottle. My number 1 rose fragrance in my collection is from the house of, yep, you guys got it. This is from the house of Frederic Malle, and this fragrance is called Portrait of a Lady. But of course, on this channel, you know, we refer to this as Portrait of a Man. And this is, I've talked about this so much, you guys already know what it is. You know what time it is with this fragrance, man. You got rose in here, you have incense, and you have patchouli. Those are the main notes to my nose. And this fragrance is just simply put, it's freaking amazing. And that's why it is my favorite rose fragrance in my collection. It's from the house of Frederic Malle, and this is Portrait of a Man. But that's it, guys. That is my time today, man. I gave you 10 fragrances in my collection, my holy grail, if you will, rose fragrance collection. As always, I sincerely appreciate you guys watching this video. I appreciate your time and your attention to these videos. I know you guys don't have to watch, but you do, and I sincerely appreciate that. Now, don't forget to take a few moments to go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. And make sure you are sharing these videos out to some other folks out there that could use this information to find it entertaining. Because I'm your main man, Darian. I'm the Bowtie Fragrance Guy. I love to look good, and of course, I love to smell amazing. So until next time, guys, keep looking good, keep smelling even better. I'll catch you on the flip side.